Welcome back.
Mike and I are in the kitchen right here for What's Up and About
We are.
this morning.
Yeah. So we want to talk about two topics that have caught our attention. Quite interesting one, but just let's just go over our state governor. Something I love. The president on the was it on the second or even on the first?
First, yeah.
He was back to Abuja.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was on the first, and we also saw the state governor.
Yeah.
Someone, yeah. You want to tell us about that?
So I was interested to see that his response to some guys on bikes on a one-way street. He stopped his convoy and asked that they be picked up. So I didn't see the initial part of the video before, where we saw them being picked up. Yeah. And I don't think anybody has the video before that part. But what was key to me was the audacity of one of the, in quotes, soldiers actually telling the governor that I'm a soldier. And I'm like, okay, you're a soldier, so you were caught in the wrong. The audacity of the gentleman actually just, I'm not if I'm calling him a gentleman, the guy just talking to the governor that way.
I didn't hear him. I didn't just watch that. But did he actually say,
he said, I'm a soldier. As they were carrying his belt, like, I'm a soldier. Like, and then, our governor said, that's the more reason why they will lock you up.
Executive lockup.
So now that was what was funny about the comment section of that post. People were like, you know what, you took him from a bike and put him inside Prado. I'm like, why is this the focus? So, Nigerians have a way of finding fun and games and everything. I just want to mention something before we move on to what we want to talk about. Is this thing. I have this thing, and I think is when I see, I used to love bikes a lot, you know, because of it was ease of transportation, ease of movement from one place to the other. Traffic doesn't get you and all of that. In fact, I remember back then where I would take bikes for long distances. But over time, you understand, with roads becoming better and all of that, you have to understand that a lot of times bikes can be impediments. That's even when they are going normally, and then not when you are more, how much more so when it's one way. And then there's this one I just want to talk about. Which one?
Nursing mothers.
Nursing mothers on bikes.
I can almost stop and tell the woman, come down. And like,
with a newborn
there's
or an
this
infant.
trigger whenever I see either a pregnant woman or a nursing mother or somebody with two kids. Don't you know?
Haven't you seen bikes with two kids in front, two kids at the back? You know, it boggles the mind.
I beg you, how much is it? Get a keke.
Wait.
I beg you.
Wait. There are still some areas, sadly, that even keke can't access. So in some cases, these families are without a choice. Now, it's not to say that it's okay. It's not to say that it's okay. It is not okay. First of all, they don't have safety helmets or safety gear on their bodies. It shouldn't be allowed.
It shouldn't
But at some point, a lot of families have had to do that. It actually triggers me as well. Another thing that triggers me is when I see people with newborns in the front passenger seat. The front passenger seat with a newborn is against the law almost all over the world, but in Nigeria...
What's the age?
No, any child.
I know what's the age where a child can sit in front.
It's actually abroad. Abroad it's 10 to 13.
So okay.
Yeah. So it's actually one of those. There's just so many things we still need to work on. But let's go back to what happened with the governor. And I feel like it was his way of keeping his word. That law and order must be addressed and obeyed in the state. He said it many times. He was going to put his foot down on all these offenders.
Great one.
Speaking of keeping your word, Mike, if, for instance, I asked you for 50,000 naira.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, yeah.
And then maybe on the 15th of the month, I'll be like, don't worry, Mike, I'll give you on
You
the 15th.
asked me or you...
I asked you for it.
You asked to borrow.
Yeah. Asked you first.
What
is your response to it?
No, if you asked me for something and I could give it, I would give it. If you asked to borrow, I've started learning to the point where if I cannot give money freely, then I shouldn't borrow it. So if the money is too big for me to let go, then don't borrow it.
Okay.
But in some few cases I might go further, right? But if the money is too much,
So I'm making reference to that post that came up online yesterday as well, of a lady complaining that a guy ghosted her because she didn't return 50K.
Yeah,
it's
interesting. She says, I remember, and she comes up online, maybe she's expecting to drum some support or some, I don't know, I don't know how to put what she came out to do. But then she says, I remember how this guy was all over me. He said he loves me and wants to marry me. He practically wakes me up with call and prayers every day. He's praying with you. That's strong, even.
Okay.
He's praying with you.
Okay.
I'm still trying. Then I went broke one day. It's not one day he went broke.
Oh, wow, Mike, stop.
I went broke one day, like as if...
Okay, so you're saying she was broke before she collected...
I don't know. And I asked him to borrow me money that I will return it the following week. Something led to something, and I was unable to fulfill my own part of the deal. That is how this guy suddenly ghosted me and stopped talking to me.
Wow.
I even tried to reach out to him to explain why I couldn't return his money back. All effort was proved abortive, SIC, and says, how on earth will you ghost someone you claim to love because of 50K? Wow. I pray he sees this.
Wow. So him seeing this message now, how do you think he would feel? Like if you saw this online now.
The first thing when I saw it, I was like, Baba most probably dodged a bullet.
Wow. Yeah. That's what you think?
Most probably dodged a bullet, yes.
That's what you think?
Because it's not even about not returning the money. It's about this post coming out to even make it like... And
make it public.
Tone.
Yeah.
The tone in which she's putting it. It's someone's look.
Okay, so if the tone of this message was different, so if the tone was like, I'm feeling so bad, I really wanted to return the money, but you know, please, if anybody knows him or can reach him, please let him know the reason. That would have probably garnered more support than coming out to say,
yeah, and then why did he go stuff like this here? Then there might be a number of other things related to it. There will probably be something she didn't say.
Yeah.
If you probably hear the guy's own side of the story, there will be something else you probably don't just see here. Yeah. But let us, we are discussing based on what we see here.
Yeah,
if we take it just at face value,
yeah.
Omo, he dodged a bullet. Because if it shows for me at different times here, there are times when I've given someone money and the person wanted to return it, and then I said, okay, no, don't worry.
Don't worry,
but I only gave after the person tried to return it.
Okay.
And so
I think that's a culture thing.
Exactly.
This is a culture thing. I think it's an Africa thing.
And so if you, but there's just so much talk about this. But I would just say that, look, if we're given money and he feels that is enough, that and maybe some other things. But even if it is that alone, that's a big thing. It's a big thing because, look, there are a few things that you can use to find out or know someone's character. And number one is money.
Very true. But the thing is, a lot of ladies will actually assume that she is the one that is dodging a bullet right now. Because if he can ghost you for 50K, what will he now do if it's 500?
Why would he give?
What? If it was 500K, what was he going to do?
You arrest her.
Now, she dodged this bullet too.
No.
I think she's the one that dodged the bullet here because obviously she has a particular way she's, wired. She doesn't think it's a big deal if she doesn't return it. Fine, it's a character issue.
What if she has a penchant? What if he has already seen that, this will be great. The way she go, she could find 50K steady.
So 50K, to some people,
steady.
50K is not a big deal.
But she could not pay back. It's a big deal for her.
But did she have to?
It's a big deal.
He's been waking up every morning to pray with her. He's been showing all the love, and then suddenly...
That's borrow. You know the one he has been giving her without borrow?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
My point is...
Whatever it is, we don't know the whole story.
Yes,
anyway.
we don't know the story. But, man, that sounds really entitled. That's not cool. And from the way she sounds, from what she wrote, you didn't reach out to him to say, even if it's 10K, say, but there's this part of it. You know what? Yes, try it.
Try first.
Whether he would now say, okay.
All right. Anyhow, she's been ghosted. May you not be ghosted this year.
We'll not ghost you. We'll try our best not to ghost you.
We will. But we have quite a lot of time for you to connect with us online. Use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Let us know what you think about this particular story. We'll be back after this break.